Hey there friends, welcome to the Cactus Atlas and a very special annual Thanksgiving Day vlog 2023. I decided to start our Thanksgiving Day updates here at Dead Horse Ranch State Park, where I kind of was hoping there'd be some fall color, and I am not disappointed so far. It's worked out pretty well. And on that mountainside over there is a town built into the side of the hill. To orient some of you, that will be likely one of our destinations after we leave here and drive towards home in Phoenix. That's Jerome, Arizona. If you've come here today looking for a standard, normal Cactus Atlas episode, an off-roading adventure or something, maybe you'll get a little bit of it, but today's more personal. It's the one time of the year where we talk about ourselves a lot. And boy, do I have a lot to update you guys on this year. I guess I'll not beat around the bush too much. I mean, the big news really that I'm going to talk about later, not trying to be clickbaity, is I lost my day job, the one that I always refer to. And before people are like, oh, you know, it's a sob story. It's not a sob story, really. I don't look at it that way. We have lots of updates about what to expect because of that and how that's affected things, probably in a very positive way if you like this channel. So we'll talk a little bit more about that a little later on, but being that it's Thanksgiving, it only seems appropriate to give some thanks, as we like to do. Here's Dead Horse Ranch State Park, this area of lagoons. There's a lot of people fishing, but I notice there's a lot of cottonwood trees, maybe some sycamore, I'm not sure, that are currently very pretty. A lot of beautiful reflections here. And one of three little lagoons we're going to be walking around this morning. Very peaceful. I do have reasons for what I want to talk about on this episode, and I have given it a lot of thought and kind of gone back and forth on the parts that I want to discuss and what I don't want to discuss. And this morning I woke up and I said, I'm ready to do it. And the bird over there is cheering me on, saying, go Glenn, go. You know, this isn't the first time I will have done this, and it certainly won't be the last, but the big thanks really goes to you people that are watching this, especially those of you who are watching it that have been watching us for a very long time now, and into the years, if you can believe that, as well as all who have come on aboard recently, people dropping us comments, showing us love, all of you people. I think you all know who I'm talking about. I don't want to single people out or say things like that, but I always start by giving sincere thanks to you guys, because I wouldn't be doing this, I shouldn't say at all, but I wouldn't be doing this as frequently as we do here today on the Cactus Atlas if you guys didn't express an interest and show interest in what we do. But I can't really state that enough. I mean, because, you know, I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and my motivations for doing this as we go along, but certainly wouldn't be releasing once a week if people weren't interested. I probably would still be doing this even if I wasn't making a single penny off of it. It would just be much less frequent when I feel like doing it, kind of thing, and probably a little bit different of a format. Some of the trees seem to just be changing, and some of them seem to be past their prime, because you still have some with a lot of green leaves like this one here. I know a lot of you already know the drill by now, and the next thing I'm going to say, and that's really to point out my wife, Amy, who is the other mastermind behind the Cactus Atlas, probably actually does a lot more work than I do, to be honest. Our main editor, I would say, manages all the social media stuff. Likely, if you're hearing back from folks in the comments, it's probably Amy. Although I do comment occasionally too. You'll probably know if I do. But yeah, she's integral to this whole thing, and it couldn't happen without her. And I always point that out because you know, sometimes I wonder, I think people just assume it's a one-man band, and it is certainly far from that. So Amy, as always, thank you. People, shower Amy with love in the comments. Tell her the wonderful work that she does. And here I come up on the middle lagoon, and the leaves here are even better, I think. The changing leaves. Oh, isn't that a beautiful sight? Never really been to Dead Horse Ranch State Park on this channel before, and I gotta rectify that in the future. A lot more hiking trails than what we're doing. This is kind of just a casual promenade, I should say. Although the meaning of promenade, I think, insinuates that the person wants to be seen, and I certainly do not. Observation area here to observe beauty. Maybe to fish too. A lot of people fishing here this morning at Dead Horse Ranch State Park. Certainly not the happiest name for a state park, Dead Horse Ranch. And I was wondering, why in the heck do they call it Dead Horse Ranch? The story goes that back in the 1940s, a family was out here shopping around for a ranch, and they came down to this area where there was a ranch that the family bought, and there was a dead horse somewhere in the vicinity. And later on, it sounds like the parents asked the kids, like, which ranch did you guys like? And they said, the one with the dead horse. And voila, that's how the place got its name, the ranch that had the dead horse on the property. But enough about the state park system. This is more about us today. The Cactus Atlas, me, Amy, the whole shebang, and what the heck we're gonna do now. The future is wide open. You know, I'm not really good at these, to be honest. I watch a lot of other YouTubers where they might do one of these a week, or it just seems to be the order of the day. Just kind of stream of conscious, speaking whatever on one's mind. And you know, that's not Amy and I's style. If you've been watching the channel, I think we really try to be a show more than anything, as opposed to like a vlogging channel where we really just talk about random personal stuff. That's not really our thing. To me, it's really just to document these wonderful places and hopefully convince people like you to try to get out to them. When Amy and I started on this endeavor several years ago, we never would have thought we would have been having the kind of subscriber counts that we see today. Now, some of you certainly probably will laugh because I think we're just about to hit 15,000 subs. And that's tiddlywinks, that's small play in the world of YouTube, but in the world of Amy and Glenn, we can't believe that, you know, almost 15,000 people decided to click a button to subscribe. Granted, I know that probably the majority of people that do that never come back, never watch, but a lot of you do. And that's why we're here today to talk about a few things. All right, so now this next bit of thanks is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I've been waiting for this episode very impatiently, and now is finally the time. Wanted to show you guys something really cool that somebody got me here and made. It's a Yeti thermos, good for like cold drinks. So you can see it's got the Cactus Atlas logo etched on the front. My favorite color, by the way, is navy blue. Such a dude thing to say, I guess, but it's true. So I think that is probably why I got a blue one, even though the Cactus Atlas, our logo's kind of got reds in it. But on the back side, let me switch this around. You could see it engraved in it. It says the Cactus Atlas. Hopefully you can see that okay. One of the coolest things ever. Like, this means more to me than the people that bought this for me could ever know, I think. Very cool stuff. I mean, it's not only cool just on its own, but to me, if you've ever watched the movie A Christmas Story, and he gets that lamp, and he says, it's a major award. That's how I feel about this. And in the house, usually, I've been keeping this. I've got an office, and I've got shelves that I put up on the wall. And this is kind of up there like a trophy. You know, it's my major award. I'm proud of it. I really am. But it does get use also. This is ice water today. And I've been doing experiments to see how long I can keep ice in this over the days. And these things are quite impressive, Yeti. All right, I'm not going to let them off the hook. I think the folks that got me that little thermos, that's my in-laws. It's Amy's parents who watch the show, and I think they enjoy it as far as what Amy tells me. And they comment. I've heard comments too. So thank you guys so much. Seriously, that's amazing and very appreciated and very loved. The reason why I think that means so much, not only is it cool, not only is it a quality brand like Yeti and it gets a lot of use, but this whole thing, the Cactus Atlas, I think Amy shares it. It's something we created. It's something when we get paid for it, the little we do make, it's our hands that created it. It's our vision. It's our thing, and nobody can take that from us. And that's really, to me, having that. If I stopped doing the Cactus Atlas today, and I had that as a memory, piece of memorabilia from the good times, that would be awesome, you know? And at this point, we've been doing it for years, so I guess it's kind of official, huh? But doing something like this, whether it's YouTube, maybe you make handcrafted things, I don't know. But it's something nobody really can take away from us. You can't be laid off from something you're doing. You're the only one that can fail you. And it's really that aspect that makes it so special for me, and why it makes my little major award so special too. You know, one of the best things I've done in my life is this whole, we'll say, hobby at this point. Probably more than a hobby, but. And let us continue now down the way, and we'll complete this loop of the 3 lagoons. Pretty much have walked down one side of them, then we're gonna loop back around and come right up the other side. And I would say so far, at my current age, where I'm at in life, probably feel the most thankful I ever have in life. And this is one thing of many to be very thankful for. Sometimes I sit in horror thinking about what if we never decided to do this in the first place? And I think everybody, especially those that work the daily grind, I can't express how much having a hobby like this does to just take your mind off of everything else. So if I wasn't doing this, probably would be working like I would anyway, but really not have anything else to focus on, and you can kind of just, you know, stew in the daily stress and not really have much. Maybe a video game or movie or TV is your thing to kind of escape, but it wasn't enough for me. Just was very unsatisfied by living my life like that, and getting out, filming and doing all of the stuff that I do is truly medicine. You know, the next thing that I should also give thanks for is really just being here and now, being in a place like Arizona where a lot of people travel internationally to get here, and I'm just lucky to live in a place that has a lot of interest. I shouldn't just say Arizona, but the entire Southwest and West, in a very good location to do what we do. So extremely thankful for that. In fact, I could really have it no other way. Maybe something I haven't really said explicitly is just the living out west, living in the West. It's the first place in my entire life, and I've moved around a bit, lived in lots of sections of the country, but the first place that feels like me, like I'm in the right place. And even if I wasn't entangled with this YouTube thing I do, that statement would still hold very much true, and I don't think I could part ways with my beloved Arizona, or maybe more accurately, my beloved Southwest and deserts and mountains and open spaces. I gotta have that. When you say things like you never want to leave Arizona, you had your fill of the East Coast, Midwest, but Glenn, what about all the seasons? Don't you miss the seasons? No, actually I don't, because the seasons are right freaking here, and they never went anywhere. And I don't have to deal with snow and ice and all the other crap that follows this. So you following me? I ain't leaving Arizona. Ain't gonna happen. You're gonna have to drag me out of here. Well, I'm not leaving the Southwest. You're gonna have to drag me out of here screaming. Catch some more of these beautiful reflections as much as we can. Because where we're going, there ain't no reflections, as far as I know. All right, before we leave autumn in Arizona, I just saw this one last stop where we can actually walk deep into this forest down towards the Verde River and really enjoy autumn from deep within. Because even though I say this is about me and Amy and the Cactus Atlas, part of the star of the show is nature. And for that, we should be thankful that we live in a world full of such variety and color. This is like a little paradise back here. I love the freshly fallen leaves crunching beneath my feet. When you live in the Sonoran Desert and your yard is all landscaping rock and cacti, you come to appreciate these things when you can get it. And here we go, on the banks of the Verde River. Verde, Verde, Salsa Verde, Salsa Verde. Which do you like better? Lots of birds chirping. At that bird bath earlier, we saw a large variety of birds all congregated in the same place. But it is beautiful. I love the combinations of the green to yellow to the rusty reds. You got a little bit of everything. I know it's no Northeast United States. Mainly doing this for Amy, of course, because she's the autumn nut. I don't know many people that don't like autumn though, you know? At least this part of autumn. Now, if Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday were here right now, you know what he'd say. You guys got it right. Those ravens got it right. They said, "Isn't that a daisy?" All right, so this was the Thanksgiving portion, meaning me giving thanks on Thanksgiving for you guys. And now that that business is out of the way, I will truly now take you up to Jerome, Arizona for the second portion of our trip, the fall. The loss of day job and the story surrounding that and what I'm gonna do next. Okay, so the quick background as we get up to Jerome about what I do. I dropped a fact about it last year, but I didn't really go crazy in depth with it. But one thing I always point out to folks is that I'm not a full-time YouTuber, and I'm going to be very crystal clear about this point. I, at this point, do not intend on or do not expect to become a full-time YouTuber. So that's going to really start hitting on some of the notes that I want to talk about later, but I'll just kind of say that straight away here. My main trade and the way the bills really get paid has been a very rewarding career in software development. I'm a software engineer, developer, computer programmer, whatever you like to call it. I don't really care. But that has been my
in a quarter mile,
bread and butter,
right
so to speak,
Main Street,
for a very long time now. And I've worked really in the corporate setting, always major corporations, you know, building essentially web content, but really web applications is my jam, what I really enjoy doing, and what I've eventually gotten paid very well to do, in fact. I've worked very hard at it. Hardest thing I've ever worked at in my life. And it has been very rewarding, not only financially, but it really is a deep part of me and what I really enjoy doing. Probably even more than making YouTube videos are building web applications. In its purest form, I should say, the individual contributor aspect of it. Especially when I code on my own and I'm just, you know, having fun with it. But that's really who I am underneath it all, is, you know, a web developer who's made a good career and a good living at it so far. So anyway, behind the scenes, well over a decade now working in corporate America, very large companies in IT, building web applications, and I love doing that, and I've had a good career, blah, blah, blah. Now leading up to, you know, the latest story in that career was to be part of a very large corporate layoff, where kind of like some of us, I would say, got the rug ripped out from under us. It was something that nobody really saw coming, but basically they closed down, the company I worked for closed down one of its major IT hubs, I guess you could call it that, in the Phoenix area, and just whacked off the head quick and clean. I have nothing bad to say about the company, by the way, and I will say by far it was the best job, the best company. I have had many jobs during my time there, different roles, but I would say the best company by far that I've ever worked for, especially in the area of like work-life balance and time off. I've never had anything not even remotely close to that. So, and therein lies part of the secret sauce of this channel. Maybe all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together for you, but if you really study how we do things most of the year, I'm out filming these major road trips where I basically am traveling for about a week, and those are my vacation days for the most part, and gotta kind of pay attention to where I'm going now. So I think we're about to head up the mountain. So yeah, the job, the company, working at a place like that really allowed me to have the time to do this and travel as extensively as I've been able to do. And I can tell you, to contrast that against what I'm used to in jobs, it's usually been the opposite end of the spectrum, and it's been the jobs with the burnout, the on-calls, the calls in the middle of the night, and just really bad work-life balance, the complete opposite. So, finding that was, it's something that I think you can find it, but I'm not going to say it's the easiest thing to find. So if anything stings about the job loss situation, it's really that, and I would say my main stress comes from the future and knowing that I am going to, I'll state this very clearly for any of the people that are worried about me, the mothers out there. Yes, of course I'm going to look for a job. I think people think I'm just gonna drop everything and go headlong into this YouTube thing. While as much awesomeness as that would be, I'm here to tell you that's not the case. Even though I'm going to hint at one other incentive to stick around, I'm going to tell you later our new schedule, we're actually going to be releasing more frequently than we ever have, more content than ever. But no, the end of the road doesn't stop here. The next major chapter in my life is to get a new career, a new job somewhere, and hopefully be able to check off all the boxes of the things that are important to me, which include doing this show and having the time, and not only the time, but working in a culture where I can leave with confidence and go on trips and not have to feel tethered to my phone all the time and that kind of thing. But all in all, this was something that I've seen coming for a couple months, because this was announced a couple months ago. And we do get severance based on how long you've been with the company and all that kind of stuff. So in some ways pretty standard stuff, I guess, for these types of corporate layoffs. Another thing to be very thankful for, because I don't think everybody would have that kind of a situation in life. So it's not like a dire situation, I think, is really before I get into the next stage of what I'm going to talk about surrounding this and what the next steps are and all that, it's not a dire situation by a long shot. I'm very thankful to be in the position I'm in many different ways. I know I kept saying I was going to save getting into this until we got into town, but stream of thought. So is there anxiety or nervousness or stress underlying some of this? To some extent, of course. I think that's natural and normal. But the reason why I want to talk about this a little bit more in depth and to maybe make some statements and to explain what I'm going to do, why I'm going to do it, is to address the concerned motherly voices that are out there, probably in everyone's lives. Not necessarily referring to my mother, but she might be one of them. But coworkers, friends, the people that I think want to serve as a voice of reason, those that, insist that without delay I must get a job and be paid immediately, like it's my life depended on it. You know, I think that's kind of a natural reaction that a lot of people have. But people make those statements kind of generally without knowing the full picture. And that's really what I want to do today, or for those few voices who may or may not watch the show. I don't think all of them do. You can hear my side of why I'm deciding to do the things that I'm doing, and for those that might try to give me some advice in the future, I might just save my breath and refer them to this video. So I'm kind of recording it for that reason too, so I don't have to repeat myself over and over. The other reality is I really haven't discussed this in detail with anybody other than Amy. That's really it. I mean, I have had conversations about it, but usually I just I don't go into my part of it. I just listen and nod and graciously accept people's advice and thoughts. I might need to break for a moment though as we head up into Jerome, because this is a crazy town with some crazy curvy streets, so I want to drive carefully. But I also need to keep an eye out for parking, because when this town is crowded, it's crowded. And parking can be a real problem out here. So I need all hands on deck for the moment. Really awesome town, and we've been here once, and we've done the museum here, the state park museum, but we've not really come into the city proper. I think we also went to that Goldfield, or why do I forget the name of it? There's like a kind of a touristy ghost town-ish back in the hills here, which is really fun. We've done that too, but anyway, we've not done the town proper though. So this might be the first time I really film, if I can find parking, the stuff that I've always wanted to show. What really makes Jerome popular and special. The one crazy thing is you're gonna see are just these old homes built into this very sharp landscape. So steep, in fact, that there are actually buildings, a building in particular that comes to mind, that have slid down a hill. That's how steep this is and how crazy it gets. You can see they got these retaining walls they've had to build, and right off to my right are up steep hills or homes. Probably hard for you guys to see them from this vantage point on the windshield, but rest assured, you'll see plenty. I remember this is what we were seeing from way back in Dead Horse Ranch State Park. When I said, oh, you see Jerome way up there? This is what I was pointed at, if we could see it. And some beautiful fall color here. I think we're getting close to the point where I can look for parking. I know one place in particular I like to park, if I can. Definitely don't like to parallel park in the street, not in this pickup truck. Isn't that amazing, though, how they built this town? Yeah, very artsy community. A lot of like cool historic hotels. Reputed to be very haunted if you're into the paranormal, like especially the paranormal historic thing. And now we're starting to get up on the streets here, and you can kind of see the parallel parking on the streets pretty taken so far. But we're gonna go down here is where I'm trying to go to see if I can find parking. Usually there's spots down this a ways. Welcome to Jerome, Arizona. I would say that Jerome is easily top 3 favorite towns in Arizona for me. I haven't really arranged how the top 3 work. I could just say with confidence it's in the top 3. I love it because there's a lot of old historic buildings that are original, like this old brothel. I believe this was an actual brothel back in the day, the House of Joy. And just in general, I think you can probably tell this town has got some good age to it. This is one of my favorite little intersections here. It's like one way, so we went this way, but if you were coming back down, you'd be going down that way. But it's the Flatiron. I assume it's named after the famous Flatiron building in New York City, but really neat corner building here. And there's just one little hotel after another. This is the Central Hotel. I just wanted to come out here too and get you this one quick little view of these beautiful autumn leaves. But if we look to the left, you might see some salmon colored pink and tan rock. Well, that's looking off towards Sedona, Arizona. And even further, kind of on the horizon, you'll see some jagged peaks. That would be the San Francisco peaks in Flagstaff, Arizona. So let's get kind of deeper into the town and I'll tell you more of the story now of what's going on. Trying to get around from these blind corners. These cars are cutting it close. Let me show you this. Surprise! All right, we're gonna cut up this way now. Not only will you get your steps in here, you'll get in your stairs too. This town is really steep. You get some good walking done, get the heart rate going like it is already. Don't worry, we will be back here doing this town its justice. Probably in some of the extra time I'm gonna have off here in the upcoming weeks. It's probably not the best choice to come here to try to do a vlog about myself when there's this many distractions here of old stuff, just the guts of old buildings. And the next door hotel built in the 1800s. Anyway, I'm admiring the views too that you get. The old miner's mansion, I think, down that way, and then the State Historic Park is down the hill there. We visited that before, but let me get back into the whole point of doing this video. So the part that I think I kind of struggle with and what I wanted to state concerning my plan is, while I absolutely plan on prioritizing that in my life, I'm not going to act like it's an emergency. And I'm going to spend the most amount of time I ever have in my life trying to ensure I finally find the right thing. After learning hard lessons, working at companies that don't appreciate any semblance of work-life balance in bad situations, I've gotten wise in my old age. And this next thing I choose needs to be the right thing. I told you all before, I'm very shy in public about filming and doing this hobby. So I always struggle to stay focused and talk about things when there's a lot of people around. And then I kind of get, try to get stealthy about it and film like I'm not talking to myself over here. So I'm trying to find a more quiet place. Okay, so I found a quiet place here. Hopefully for the moment to chat, next to a sliding jail. That's what it's called, the Jerome's famous sliding jail. It actually used to be up the hill, and like I told you, things were so steep here, it literally slid down the hill. I have thought about this a lot. I've done a lot of napkin math, done a lot more better than just napkin math, and thought about this in lots of different ways. And and I guess to all of those concerned voices, yes, it's going to happen, but I am doing the most meticulous search of my life, not only to try to check off all the boxes, but to find something that's fulfilling to do too, something that I feel good about, a product that I really believe in, or something like that. I want the ideal. I'm starting off at the ideal and then some, and then out of necessity as time goes on, I'm going to start lowering expectations if I need to in the job search area. But I'm not going to rush this one because that's always gotten me in trouble except for one time. Usually I found that there aren't greener pastures. It's usually the other way. Maybe it's just the luck of the draw. So as I've already started, looking, I have been favoring and doing more work on this channel in the short term. And you better dang well believe it, that is going to continue. And I am going to invest a little extra of myself and some time funded by me, and maybe a little bit of severance if you want to look at it that way, to do more here before I re-enter the workforce and really dive deep. If that perfect job, if I find it tomorrow and I interview and I get it, I will be the first one to sign up, right? But I can tell you, it usually doesn't work out that way. And I don't want others that have their own financial incentives behind it to try to guide me on that journey, as I always have, you know, these third-party companies and stuff. I really want to try to do this one on my own. So, and I'll come crying back at people when the time's appropriate. But right now, the time ain't appropriate. Instead, I'm going to continue doing what was already set in motion a couple months ago, which is to increase the amount of content on this channel to further support my goal and what I'm trying to get out of this channel on the business side. And herein lies the other huge misconception I think people have with this, in what Amy and I think of this. We never did, nor do I at this point think I will ever have stars in my eyes. I'm not trying to be Mr. Beast level or something like that. I'm not stupid. I'm doing, you know, a thing that probably thousands, if not tens of thousands of other people are doing, and nothing that novel. And I'm very appreciative of people coming here for our flavor of it. But if I was really out to make a buck and to make money, I don't think this current strategy is the best way. And why do I care then? Because that was never the point. It's never out to become a big YouTuber. Rather, what I saw an opportunity to do was to create a form of passive revenue in my life, a passive revenue stream which comes in really handy in times like this where the carpet's yanked out from under you and you get laid off. And now that I find myself in this situation, I want to take a month or two and amass more content and spend more time fueling that passive revenue stream and growing it, not to huge heights, but up maybe a rung or two, and then go back and do it all over again and let this thing do a slow burn, a slow growth, maybe over the next 10, 15 years. And if YouTube is still a thing and still works the way it does today, I'll be going into retirement with hopefully a moderate income coming in on the side. The reason why I like to use the term passive revenue also is, I guess it's not, you know, you get paid here on YouTube as royalties, and people can go watch an old video, even ones we made pre-monetization, and we get paid for it. Now, we try to make our content as I think the term is evergreen as possible, meaning that, you know, I'm out in the desert hiking around the Sonoran Desert. It's probably going to look the same 10 years from now, unless a fire happens or something like that. And it pretty much, its shelf life is indefinite, more likely until something newer and better comes along, or maybe technology improves and one day 4K is a thing of the past, which hopefully I've got some shelf life left on that 4K. I think we do. So to get to the heart of the matter, it really is as simple as, you know, Amy and I are doing the bare minimum of what one should do to make money. The worst strategy, just to rely on AdSense YouTube revenue. When you guys see an ad, we get paid pennies for each of those, and they kind of just add up, right? YouTube takes a huge cut of that, and when you're doing what we're doing, that's the worst way to make money. Hopefully that's a sign, though, is that the money making has not been I shouldn't say the primary goal. It's been a very nice to have that, as I said earlier, more often than not really gets reinvested into things like the pickup truck I got or the kayak. Probably partially funds for some of those is probably a better way to put that, certainly when it came to the truck. All right, look, I think that's Cleopatra Hill back there, and is that the big J for Jerome is on it. And this old 1918 Liberty Theater, which is part gift shop, and I think there's an old, you could still go in the old movie theater in the state that it was in back in the day. You could see how tall this building is too, because I think there's stadium style seating in there. All right, so we entered the building, and you can in fact come up here and go up to the balcony of this old theater. And right off the bat, you smell that old, kind of musty old smell. This camera's aiding my vision in here tremendously because it's very dark in here otherwise. Oh wow, check this out. So this is a 1918. That scared the hell out of me. I literally just had a heart attack because there's just like glow in the dark paint on that face and it's really dark in here. That scared me so bad. This place is probably haunted too. Trying to look through here to see if I can see any specters. So you can go up to the balcony here. It is quite dark in here when you come from the sunny outside. My eyes haven't adjusted yet. Look at all these frightening patrons here of the arts. I can't believe I've never poked my head in here. I just didn't realize it until I watched someone else's video that this was here. I just thought it was the gift shop. I don't know what I think about these creepy, scary things. Free hug. You're scary, sir. And that's scary up there too. It's like pitch black. Hello, Laurel and Hardy. So yeah, in essence, Amy and I, when I found out that, when I found out along with everybody else that we lost our job about 2 months ago, I had to use a lot of unused vacation. I still had a couple weeks unused vacation and I had to use it in short order. So one thing you're gonna have upcoming is another road trip where I drove from Nevada all the way up to California, Northern California, and did this whole thing. That is the next upcoming road trip, and I filmed a lot of extra content for that because I had all that extra time. So we kind of started to amass all this content and really saw a way forward to maybe even release more than once a week and to accommodate more of people's tastes all around. Because some of you like the road trip stuff, some of you like the camping stuff. So I think you're gonna be pleased when you hear about the near future, but these last couple months have been really busting our butts while I was still working technically, and amassing all this content using my last vacation and all the stuff that we've already built up for. So in fact, I think if we look at this kind of as in a seasonal nature, I think we have content at least filmed all the way through like mid-February or even early March at this point, if you can believe that. Some of it's still being edited, but probably about halfway there already. And I don't think it's any surprise to a lot of you that we've been working that way for a very long time. And now we've had an opportunity to get even further ahead than we ever had before. So we've got, some breathing room, but the main point about this transition of going into a new job, trying to create a passive revenue stream, all of that, I'm not quite done with my mission here and what I want to achieve, ideally, before I re-enter the workforce doing my day job stuff as a software engineer. This thing continues going down. I guess it's like a one-way loop. I like how they did this. Very dusty in here, creaky and old. Probably one of the coolest things you can come and see here in Jerome, I would even say. And I see Freddy Krueger. Like, who would have thought that there was all this to this here? It's old movie posters. This place is amazing. We're still not all the way down, and there's another level to come see. It's a little scary being in here by oneself, and you got the freaky Pennywise. I know the OG Pennywise is still the fan favorite, I think, but this one, And that's really it in a nutshell, is we're not reaching for the stars, but we believe.
You've arrived. Come right in.
I'm gonna have a heart attack before I'm done with this place. So overall, it's just really that. It's Amy and I see an opportunity to not turn a blind eye to the world and keeping an eye out there, but to really do that, prepare for the next stage, and maybe over the next 2 months, I don't even know, dare I say 2 to 4 months, really build and amass content and kind of just get everything arranged, bring it home. I'll do all of the filming, help edit some, and really get everything stacked, prepared in the same manner that we've been doing it all along, really. We always work ahead, so that's really nothing new, but really get pretty far out into the future because of, I guess, my apprehension or fear of, with the next job, when will I be able to take vacation, and all of these kind of questions, and how much will I have? Like, those are all unknowns. And I can tell you the situation I just had is not the usual, in my opinion. Sometimes what's been more common is on day one, you have 0 days off and you have to earn them paycheck by paycheck, increments at a time, and it's sometimes could be months before you start, and a lot of companies like to try before they buy, and they want to hire you as a contractor first, and then you get no vacation for like 3 months, then you have to wait another 3 months to get it. It absolutely sucks. I don't know why people think that's a good deal, but it absolutely could decimate my ability to do much of anything on this channel if I have to take an unfortunate situation like that, which I'm still going to try to desperately avoid at all costs. So to keep this thing rolling, now you're kind of seeing where I'm going with this. I feel like I almost need to, because of that uncertainty, amass enough stuff to weather through that kind of a time. And starting a new job just in general, learning a new culture, learning new people, you know, I'm sure the little stressors that come with just about any job, and the adjustment, learning the business domain, all of these normal things. Usually when I want to start a new job, especially in this field, I'm going to be very heads down and prioritizing that over this, as I always have. But I really don't want to miss a beat. Not while we have the momentum we seem to be having these days, at least for our expectations. So, you know, the other aspect of all this that I'll touch on, haven't been mentioning the company name. Not, you know, I have only good things to say about my experience at this point. I have nothing bad to say, you know, to talk angrily or something about it. And I kind of understand what they're doing and why they did what they did, to be honest, unfortunately. But there were options to relocate and to essentially retain my job or my position and my benefits and the whole shebang, but I was gonna have to relocate. And I was gonna have to relocate to places that don't resemble this in any way, shape, or form. My endless vistas, the endless views for miles, my love for the wide open spaces, I would have to give all that up, and probably the ability to drive through public lands. I'd be living in places where it's probably mostly private land. Screw that, man. I'm too free for that. No, sirree, Bob. Jim Morrison said it the most accurately and succinctly. The West is the best, at least for me. I will not leave. I mean, I should say I will never leave here. Someone calls me up and says, "Oh, we'll offer you $500,000 a year to do this or that." But everybody has their price, right? But for all intents and purposes, that ain't gonna happen. So we're not going anywhere, Arizona. We are not going anywhere. Came out into this back alley here in Prescott, and really cool murals, and really kind of a very pretty street back here. I want to say this is the backside of Whiskey Row. Some of the shops and restaurants on the other side. We'll find out for sure. I think the courthouse, the Central Plaza, is right on the other side too, that I saw, that I wanted to come see and film for hopefully some autumn color. I was correct indeed. The sign up here indicates Montezuma Street here is Whiskey Row. Here's the famous Whiskey Row. Heading down this way, we'll cut across over there to that courthouse and get a better view of Whiskey Row. But you can see a lot of the leaves up here have already fallen off the trees. So like I was telling you, they all seem to do their thing at different times, yet you have some over there that are now just starting to have their show. I was trying to think of ways to continue the autumn theme throughout. Hopefully I did okay. This is a little more wintry. I guess it's late autumn. Maybe this is more of what it looks like where you live. More leaves on the ground and less up on the trees. But I always found this section of Prescott to just be beautiful, and I always loved roaming around here and looking at some of the historic buildings over there in Whiskey Row. I think a lot of the originals burnt down, a lot of the wooden originals, but it was built back up. Okay, so I came here to continue talking about the channel and what we're striving towards for this short-term future here. So one of the big pieces of news is we're now going to be releasing, or trying to release for the indeterminate future, twice a week. Of course, we release on Thursdays, as you already know, and I guess the short of it is, if you're happy with the thing we do on Thursdays, I don't think anything's going to change for you. We're going to still release the same type of thing, probably a lot of more road trip, lengthier, longer format stuff, and we're going to continue that formula. So no change there. Now Mondays, there's going to be a big change that I'm really excited to talk about. And I think this will probably make a few people happy. Mondays are going to be devoted very much to things like campground episodes, for one. Now, you're not going to have one every single Monday because that's a lot of camping to do. But I can already tell you, I think we got 4 preloaded for you once we kind of start. So campground episodes will be more of a thing on the channel. And rather than do them on Thursdays, one thought behind that that I had was, I don't think those are for everybody. I enjoy doing them. I do them more of maybe a service to help people pick out campsites as opposed to just entertainment value and hanging out. But some people like that. They're kind of easy to make because I'm usually camping anyway. So it just made sense. But it didn't make sense like when I go on these road trips across the country and we have like one Thursday we release a campground video, and then the next a hike, and then the next another road trip. It really makes those road trip adventures span sometimes months of time. And I always am afraid that things get a little old and crusty. You know, we don't want to focus on the same thing. We want variety too. So that kind of helps expedite the schedule a little bit by slipping those on in an alternate day, so we don't just do them one after another, week after week after week. So some of the thought process there. Now, another thing we're going to do with that Monday slot, though, is I'm going to be doing a lot of, I guess Amy and I just call them hiking videos, where I'm going out to locations and straight up hiking, not doing a lot of talking like I'm doing here, more flying the drone around, getting, you know, POV kind of with this thing, hiking, a little bit of comments here and there, but I bring that home and narrate it and try to make tighter, more succinct videos. And those I think are going to just be more informational in nature, but we are trying to make them majestic and show off the beauty of our home state. So if it's not a campground episode, chances are it might be one of these hiking episodes. The first one we're releasing is going to be, this is Thanksgiving, a Thursday, this upcoming Monday is going to be our first hiking video. I think I know which one it's going to be and which one's currently scheduled, and it's probably going to be that one. And that'll give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. So let us know what you think about that when that one comes out. So if you like the really long videos, you like the half an hour, 40 minutes, sometimes delving close to hour kind of territory, that's probably going to be your Thursdays. If you like succinct, less talk, more film, some of you have said that, some more politely than others. I get you though, I hear what you're saying. You're gonna get that on Mondays also, and then you're gonna get the campground episodes, and then maybe other random things. I've been wanting to do some videos on my equipment, what I film with, for example, and you know, we get a lot of questions in the comments like, what do you do with this? So I've been wanting to make a video really just to refer people to say, go check out all our stuff. And then of course we have like a little Amazon store where you can see the actual things if you want to price it out, and we always have links in our description to stuff like that, and anything you can get on Amazon that we have purchased is usually there, which accounts for a lot. Cameras and all sorts of stuff. All right, another thing that we've actually already started doing, some of you have probably caught onto it, are creating YouTube shorts. You know, YouTube says that, you know, they heavily promote them and blah, blah, blah. I can tell you it's, at least for us and the type of views we get, it's not for money, but we have found that we do pick up a few new people along for the ride. So for that reason, it seems worth it. So you're typically going to see anywhere from 1 to maybe 3 shorts a week to accompany our main releases. Not so much to be commercials, but just little standalone features, maybe a summary of an entire episode even in 1 minute, you know, for these shorts. Is it my favorite thing? Not really. I think Amy would agree, we're much more long format type of people, which requires the longest attention span, so I worry sometimes are all these short format things rotting our brains. But then I think about, well, what's the difference between, you know, thumbing through still photos? Like, that's probably the shortest format of all, you know, so I don't know. So bear with us. I do kind of like summarizing it. It trains me to be more succinct in my thinking. So at the very least, I find it to be a good exercise. So whatever. And then the other thing you probably have already heard, and we've already had some comments about, is the voice of our friend Slim, this little AI voice I've been using to write narrations for the shorts. And now by this point, if you saw the video that we released last Thursday, so it hasn't come out yet. It comes out tomorrow, but you're gonna really see Slim for the first time, or you're gonna hear Slim more for the first time, and really just an experiment. A little bit more than just like a AI narration. You know, there's actually a point to it. The shtick is basically Slim he's an AI and that's his voice. So the justification for having the AI voice, which the one we use, I think sounds pretty dang natural. You could do a lot of cool stuff with that. But quite frankly, it's just, we're experimenting, piloting ideas, seeing how people react to things. If you don't like it and people are like, this is stupid, we're not going to continue doing stuff like that. But one benefit of using these AI voices that I have noticed, and why I like to do them at least for the shorts right now, is I think it adds a little bit of character sometimes, but it's just easier. You know, you can type out what you want to say, spell check it, and you get it right on take number 1. You know, usually when I'm doing my own narrations, I stumble over my words over and over, and it's frustrating. And then sound-wise, I suck. You know, it's just like when you get these narrated voices, the peaks are nice and tidy, like right out of the box. So from a technical perspective and just time-wise, I work much more quickly than that. So for now, we're kind of keeping him, you know, in the realm of shorts. So if it annoys you, I apologize. But our Thursday stuff, it's always going to be us. We're human beings, and we want to keep this very human and organic. So please don't fear the AI voices. The whole theme to this whole thing is you're not losing anything. If you've come here for what we've been doing, that is 100% staying. But yes, there's new things we're trying out on top of that, supplementing that. So sorry, but we're gonna just see where it goes. I don't know. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna come down to this corner here, and as we walk there, I'll kind of tidy up this conversation. We're not done yet. We got one more place I'm gonna hit on the way home. I think you're gonna enjoy it. Good Whiskey Road here. Really cool to think, you know, if we could rewind our way back to the Old West, that the likes of Doc Holliday once frequented this town. I don't know what year he was up in here, but I do know that one of the, I think 2 photos that have provenance one of them was taken here. I always like to stop here to be an a-hole and to point out to people, while maybe Doc Holliday was a former patron here, that is known not to be Doc Holliday. That is actually, we'll tell that in a different story, but if you think this is Doc Holliday, you're wrong. So if you're the guy that got him tattooed on your arm, I'm gonna make you feel foolish one day. I don't know why people do this though. It's so weird. So to my knowledge, there are only 2 real known and validated photos of Doc Holliday. One was, I believe, his graduation photo when he graduated dentistry school, and another was taken here in Prescott. And that's it. There's some other ones that I wonder, could it be? And I'd like to think that, but there are so many pictures of that guy that aren't him though. It's ridiculous. And I love when people get pissed off and comment. That's one thing I like, are the ones that comment like, you know, that's not true. Well, sorry your cousin tattooed it on his arm, but it's true. We've made it to our final stop here, right outside of Phoenix, Arizona. Rock Springs. I'm going to admit something right here now that some of you will be like, I lived in Phoenix now for over 20 years, and I've never been in this place, Rock Springs. I've always heard, for the most part, very positive reviews about the pies here. This place is known for their pies, and the place has got some history in it. I've always wanted to stop here, but this is a rare sight, because usually, like if it's a weekend or something, especially in the summer, this place is packed. So there have been more than once where I'm like, oh, I'll stop over there, but usually I'm deterred by the crowds that are here. Now, the little reading I've done about Rock Springs in this general area is that it's got some history to it. It was established in 1918, as you can see, but back in the day, before cars, you know, when people were going from Prescott, where we came from, down to Phoenix, they had to have a place to stop to water their horses, and there's I don't know if it's still here today, but there was a spring here to satiate the thirst of the beasts of burden back in the day, and this would have been a stop on those stagecoach routes. Many of them are probably the roads we've been driving on, the off-roading, you know, back by the Bradshaw Mountains. Being as though this is a Thanksgiving episode, I figured it would be proper to stop and get a slice of this pie and actually see if it lives up to the reputation. So my plan is I'm gonna head into the pie shop. They should sell pie by the slice. Looks like this is the Rock Springs pie shop, separate from the main area, which I just went in. I didn't film in there, but it looks pretty cool actually. I'd like to eat here sometime. But I'm just gonna buy a couple slices to go, and we'll taste them when we get back home. So there's no shortage of pies in here, but I don't see the one that I really wanted. There's like a JD pecan pie that I don't really see on the current list. So I will have to find my backup here. And we only wanted a slice also, we're not buying a whole pie. So we're limited to what's in here. I do see one of Amy's choices in here though. Alright, I've come out with 2 slices of pie. I got a strawberry rhubarb, which was Amy's second choice, at least on the list she gave me. Strawberry rhubarb crumb, and then I got a cherry crumb. There's like crumbs sprinkled on top. We'll show it to you. And when we get in the car, I'll explain what I wanted and what I wanted to try. But I think I'm gonna be pleased. I got the cherry for me. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to try this is you have some people that claim all over the country, people that even in places I lived on the East Coast, I've heard people say, oh, if you're ever out there, you gotta stop by Rock Springs. And then you got the camp that says, it's all right. There's nothing special about it. Now we've been recommended, you know, to stop here a couple times in the comments. And if I want to, Amy said someone recommended like a pecan JD, like a Jack Daniel's pecan pie. That's what I wanted to get. I did not see it by the slice, nor did I see it in regular pie form. They did have pecan, which I'd like to try that too, I think. But in the sliced pies, they were more limited in the flavors they have over here. So cherry pie is one of my favorites. So of course, getting a cherry crumb is okay. That was also on Amy's list too. So maybe we can kind of try each other's. But the plan is I'm going to drive home. And then at some point when I get home, I don't know if it'll be tonight, tomorrow, we're going to try this pie and we're going to get to the bottom of what we think of it. And I'm going to be honest with you. If it's okay, I'm going to tell you it's okay. If it's awesome, I'm going to tell you it's awesome. So for now, I got to get home. It's starting to get dark and I'm hungry. Not for pie, but for hamburgers, which we're having tonight. Well, got back home. I've already eaten dinner and I'm sitting here at the table with guess who? It's Amy.
Hello.
See, she's really real.
No, I'm AI.
It's an AI voice that I created. And yeah, it's time for the pie tasting, and then we'll kind of tidy things up here in this episode. So our first time having Rock Springs pie this whole time living in Arizona, and we're going to tell you what we think. It's almost like a sacred moment, this Rock Springs you always hear about. And so I feel like I have to do an unboxing. Like, you know, people buy a new product. It's like we're going to do the product unboxing. It says cherry on it. And I think this is the cherry crumb, I think. Is this the cherry crumb? We'll pop the top on the convertible box.
Oh, Lord.
I stole that. And you can see it's got like delicious looking, what is that, crumbs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crumble.
It's a crumble, a cherry crumble pie. I don't know if that's what it's really called, but, and then I'm gonna plate mine, but then we'll take a look at Amy's here in a moment too. I mean, I'm kind of nervous, to be honest, because if I don't think this is amazing, I feel like it's going to be blasphemy or something. People really, I mean, you would agree, people talk this pie,
Oh, yeah.
right? And you're driving down 17, and I think I got some footage, but you see the signs for it. It's always crowded. It wasn't crowded today. I was telling them earlier.
Yeah.
It's always, you've seen it, right? We tried to go there. But, this is the strawberry rhubarb. This is going to be Amy's pie, also like with the crumb on top. Amy's going to be doing her own tasting, so this is the one, your second choice. Your first choice was an apple bourbon crumble, and I didn't have that one. I didn't see it there. So anyway, very cool. That's the unboxing portion. All right, now that it's on, did we film it unboxed already?
Yes.
To look at that. I actually took it out with my hands and it stayed intact. You know, it looks kind of flaky and nice. I mean, it looks nice. It really does. It's been refrigerated, but you know, nice looking crust. Visually, it passes my pie expectations test. And let's dig in here. Actually, we should be filming this up close. Amy and I want to be real YouTubers, so we got to do this right.
Right.
You know, we got to do this in slow motion, but you know, you can see you got this crumble here, and you know, there's the filling. It's cherry. So let's try this. My very first Rock Springs. Well, you said this is appropriate for Thanksgiving, right? This is like good Thanksgiving-ish.
Thanksgiving is known for pies.
I saw a lot of autumnal leaves today too, so
Nice.
you know, for them, this is the continuing theme. All right. That's really good.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'll let you try the cherry later, but
Okay.
absolutely wonderful. I was kind of going into this thinking it wasn't going to be okay, like what you might buy at the grocery store or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fresh. It's very fresh,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say it's sweet, but not overly sweet.
Yeah.
I don't like things like overly sweet. It's just the perfect balance. It tastes fresh.
Would you like to try my pie?
Well, I got you. Now we're YouTubing now, man. We're real YouTubers
There's a hand.
now. So the strawberry, you can take some of mine too.
Okay.
But I would say the cherry inside it's delicious, but it tastes like a cherry pie. You know what you would expect. But I would say better, like definitely better than average. So, strawberry rhubarb. Was it really tangy? Or,
I wouldn't say it's really tangy. It's kind of balanced between sweet and tangy.
Yeah.
Have you ever had strawberry rhubarb before?
Mm-mm.
Really?
Nope. I love that.
It's good, isn't it? I haven't had strawberry rhubarb since I was a little kid.
I love that. I thought I was going to be kind of like a smart ass saying, "Oh, it was okay," you know, but I can't say that. That's really good. I would say, I don't know, like people talk about it as if it's legendary. You know, sometimes when you hear about it, there's a lot of history behind the place. So can I say legendary status? I don't think so, but I mean, it's good pie. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's good pie. Well, we covered a lot of ground. I don't know how this is gonna come out until we get to editing this, but we let it all out, and now you know what to expect. And I told them about all the content that's coming out, Amy, all this crazy editing we're doing, and busting our butts over here.
Yes, we are.
Oh yeah, we're working hard. But anyway, thank you guys so much for doing this second year in a row, man. I don't know if you can call it a tradition yet, but we're getting there. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next week on Monday with our newest hiking video. Bye.